My dad was a very deep thinker and a very private person. He figured if you could run advertising and go sell a product for X number of dollars, why not do the same philosophy for things that need to be done in our community? He very quietly, and I mean quietly, pulled together his counterparts in Bausch et cetera, et cetera. They met in his office and they went out and were doing what you're doing, is finding the glaring errors in society and trying to make them right. So he came to Rochester because he wanted Kodak. There were no offices, so George Eastman stuck a desk in the hall outside his office, and that's where my father sat when he got there. And his first job at the Eastman House was to organize the help. He had this huge mansion, and his mother lived with him. And so my father went in there, and he organized who was making what, who was working here. I mean, this is ridiculous, but that was George Eastman. And my father did it. And then there's a little gap, and then he was in advertising.
Well, I've seen Causewave, back then Ad Council, grow from being Ad Council to Causewave, from the days of probably the 50s when you were still doing posters to things that you're doing now, where you're really sitting down and driving the community direction of what's happening in our community.
When the organization was founded, it really was birthed out of the advertising community, right? And there were people who were running the local advertising agencies who realized, hey, we could use our skills and our talents and our resources, yes, to market things for companies, but also to make our community better. And so that was really how the organization got started. And for a long time, that was really the focus of the organization, was using advertising and marketing in order to help nonprofit organizations do that work.
I have been a longtime supporter of Causewave. In our creative community, it's just been a passion for all of us.
Well, so anytime an institution is able to last as long as 75 years, the way that Causewave has, it's about being able to recreate itself and to be attendant to the needs of the community as those needs evolve. There was a time when what we needed was an ad council, and to make wonderful ads, to help organizations get exposure.
Today, we're helping Causewave build movements around really important issues like poverty, like homelessness, like mobility. So that shift from building creative campaigns for nonprofits to actually help them build these movements that make real lasting change in the community is such an important shift.
Wave's impact today is much broader. We're able to reach different types of organizations, we're able to help them in new ways, and it's exciting to think about how that can continue to grow.
There were just 3 of us back in 2005 to now we're about 15 people, and those 15 people are working every single day with nonprofit organizations, with community causes, with coalitions to help them leverage power of marketing and strategic planning and board development and fundraising and all of these skill sets that are necessary for a successful organization. The world hasn't stayed the same over the 75 years that the organization's been around, and the organization hasn't stayed the same either.
In our community's Healthy Kids work, we have just absolutely found the magic of partnership with Causewave, because they're not so much a consultant, but rather Causewave is a member of our adjunct staff. They're out in the field representing us, and I find it incredible that over 75 years, Causewave has evolved from not just serving organizations like mine, but serving the partnerships that we have with other organizations.
Causewave has been the backbone to the backbones. It's been an essential part of the problem-solving infrastructure of our community. Its ability to stay flexible, to stay adaptive, and to meet those needs as they present themselves are critical.
I think about things like our work to end lead poisoning in our community. Since all the way back in 2000, our organization has been part of the community-wide effort to eliminate lead poisoning. we've seen an 80 or 90% decrease in the incidence of childhood lead poisoning in our community.
When I first started at the Community Foundation, one of the first projects that I had the opportunity to work on was to provide summer meals for kids all across our region. It was Causewave that was the backbone of that entity. And you might not think of Causewave in that way, but there are so many projects, so many opportunities that we have already realized in this town that are a function of the work that Causewave has done.
I think the organization has lasted as long as it has for a couple of reasons. One, we have a vibrant nonprofit sector that's full of people who want to be better every single day, and so Causewave helps them to do that. And because we've had a great, constantly changing cast of characters who have been willing to invest their time and their treasure and their talent in making this organization successful so that we can have this strong, vibrant nonprofit sector.
The first way I became involved was when we consulted Causewave. First, you guys gave to me, and secondly, we gave to you. And that's the way it works. It's like you made new friends. It was a relationship. Again, it's a heart business and not just transactional.
Causewave as a corporate investment is really an outreach into an area of work that we do, but we don't have time to do it for everybody in the community. And so when we look at an opportunity to have a not-for-profit utilize Causewave services and get more out of it, it's definitely a donation for us to get them more help that we can't provide.
Yeah, I would absolutely encourage other funders and donors and folks in this community that believe in the future of Rochester and want to invest in it, to invest in the folks that make that future happen. And Causewave is absolutely on that list.
Take it one step at a time. Go easy. I started out giving $25 a month when we were ad council. I would encourage anybody to just start where you are, to give what you can. If it's time, that's the most important thing we have, and the most important thing to give away. You will be surrounded by others who really care in the way you care.
As a current board chair, our board is focused on Causewave continuing to grow, adapting to changing needs in the community, and thinking about what the nonprofits will need into the future.
I think he would be totally happy that you're still doing this for the community.
I love that we're celebrating Causewave's 75th anniversary because we're really celebrating all the work that this community has done. When I think about Causewaves, they're really the conduit for making that impact happen, and to celebrate that as a community.
I see a really bright future for Causewave, and I see a bright future for our community. Our community does need Causewave to get to that bright future.
I'm so glad that we have Causewave to be around for another 75 years and help us find the answers so that we continue to demonstrate to the rest of this world Rochester, New York is the place where we continue to reinvent liberty. Congratulations and happy anniversary.
Go Bills!